I'm Theresa, 35, a single mom raising my two wonderful kids in the rainy suburbs of Seattle, Washington. As an elementary school teacher, I've juggled lesson plans and bedtime stories since my ex walked out 4 years ago, leaving me to build a home full of love and laughter, even if it's a bit messy. But my sister shattered that when she called my children trash right to my face and banned them from her daughter's birthday party, claiming they'd ruin her upscale event. It hit hard during our last family dinner. She leaned in and sneered, "Your kids are trash loud, undisciplined, and not fit for a refined gathering like this." My mom clapped in agreement, her eyes cold as she nodded along. I sat there stunned, my heart pounding, as the words hung in the air like a slap. They weren't just excluding my son and daughter. They were attacking who I am as a parent. I didn't argue or yell. I quietly excused myself and left, my mind racing with the hurt boiling inside. But that wasn't the end. When I showed up at Disneyland with my kids that same day, her jaw dropped in ways she never expected. The fallout exposed everything. And what happened next changed our family forever. Before I dive into how this betrayal unfolded and what I did about it, where are you watching from? I wonder how far this story will spread. The pattern of favoritism toward Gina showed up in ways that cut deep, always putting her needs first while mine got dismissed. 5 years ago, my parents handed her $80,000 for a down payment on her house in the suburbs. When I asked to borrow $15,000 to cover Travis's hospital bills after his pneumonia scare, they refused flat out. Their reason was that I'd chosen divorce, so I had to handle my own responsibilities. 2 years ago, at Mom's birthday dinner, Gina presented her with a diamond necklace that drew oohs and ahs from everyone. Mom spent the evening praising how thoughtful Gina was. I gave her a handmade photo album filled with family memories I'd spent weeks compiling. She set it aside on the table and never opened it. Like it didn't matter. 6 months ago, during a family gathering at their place, Gina announced in front of her friends that I didn't know how to raise kids, letting them run wild. Travis was just playing tag with Alicia in the backyard at the time, nothing out of line. Her words stung because they echoed the constant judgment I'd faced, but I held back to keep peace. My approach to parenting couldn't be more different from Gina's. Travis is sensitive and loves drawing detailed sketches of the rainy forests around Seattle. Kelsey is energetic and thrives on outdoor sports. Even in our frequent drizzles, our home is warm but cluttered with art supplies and soccer gear. The kind of mess that comes from kids being kids. Marcy, my best friend who's always there with coffee and advice, helps me navigate the chaos as a single parent. Gina keeps Alicia on a tight schedule with piano lessons, ballet classes, and advanced math tutoring. She rarely gets free playtime. Everything's structured to build her resume from age 10. Darren, Gina's husband who works in business, backs her up on keeping things polished. Their house is spotless, no room for spontaneity. I'd put up with it all because I wanted Travis and Kelsey to have family connections, despite the slights. But calling them trash crossed the final line. It sparked something in me, a resolve to show that my kids deserved better, without needing her approval or involvement anymore. 2 weeks before Alicia's party, Gina's call came in while I was grading papers at the kitchen table. She didn't waste time on small talk. "Alicia's party is for respectable families, your kids. They're trash. Don't come." Her voice was sharp, like she'd rehearsed it. I gripped the phone tighter, my mind racing through all the times I'd let her comments slide. "Trash because of what?" She laughed coldly, the sound echoing in my ear. "They don't know how to behave. I don't want them wrecking my daughter's event with their chaos." "Give me one specific example," I pressed, my pulse quickening as anger built. "I don't need to explain. You know who you are," she snapped, her tone final before the line went dead. The silence in the kitchen felt heavy. Travis must have been listening from the hallway because when I checked on him later, he was in his room sketching a family tree with our branch crossed out in red marker. He didn't say anything, just kept drawing. His way of dealing with the sting that words couldn't capture. Seeing his small hands grip the pencil so tight broke something in me. Kelsey found me in the living room shortly after, her soccer ball under one arm. "Does Aunt Gina hate us?" "Mom," she asked it directly, her eyes searching mine for truth. Voice steady but with that underlying doubt kids try to hide. I pulled her onto the couch, holding her close as I searched for the right response. "No, honey, it's not about you or your brother. Some people have narrow ideas about what's right." But even as I said it, I knew the damage was done, and no simple explanation would erase her feeling of being pushed aside. That night, I didn't replay the call in my head begging for a way to fix it or text Gina pleading for inclusion. Instead, I shifted gears completely, focusing on what I could control. Marcy stopped by with takeout from our favorite spot, listening as I poured out the details without interruption. "Stop apologizing to them," she said firmly, setting down her fork. "You've bent over backward for years. It's time to set boundaries and show your kids they're not defined by her snobbery." She was right, her words cutting through my hesitation. No more explaining or arguing to win her approval. I'd prove my kids deserved real happiness without Gina's judgment hanging over us. That's when the idea solidified. A colleague at school mentioned during lunch that she was selling Disneyland tickets at a 40% discount because her family trip got canceled last minute. They were valid for the exact day of Alicia's party. Like a sign I couldn't ignore. I bought them on the spot, transferring the money from my savings account, my hand steady despite the whirlwind inside. As I confirmed the purchase, plans started forming, not just a trip, but a statement that we didn't need her perfect world to find our own joy. Travis and Kelsey slept unaware, but I knew this would change everything for us. The next morning, I started planning. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment trip, it was a chess move to show my kids their worth without Gina's approval. I had 10 days to make it perfect. Day 1. I booked flights from Seattle to Los Angeles. A quick search found round-trip tickets for 3 costing $450 total. Day 2. I reserved a budget hotel near Disneyland for $300 for 2 nights clean. No frills. Just what we needed. Days 3 through 5. I shopped for outfits. Nothing flashy. But I picked a navy polo for Travis and a sparkly soccer-themed tee for Kelsey to make them feel special. Days 6 to 8. I studied Disneyland's layout. I mapped out the best spots for photos: Main Street with the castle glowing, Tomorrowland under neon lights to capture moments that would shine online. On day 9, I drafted an Instagram caption, "Making our own magic. Cheer family first, no regrets." Day 10 would be execution. The budget was tight. $1,200 from 4 months of savings. Flights took $450, the hotel $300, discounted Disneyland tickets $280, and I set aside $170 for food and small souvenirs like keychains. Every penny was accounted for, a teacher's habit. I didn't frame this to Travis and Kelsey as a consolation prize. At dinner, I sat them down. "We're having a special day. Just the 3 of us. No party needed." Travis tilted his head, curious. "What about Alicia?" "We'll see her another time." "Buddy," I said gently, "this day is for us to make our own memories." Kelsey grinned, already guessing something big. I kept the Disneyland part secret to surprise them. Marcy came over that evening, bringing her usual calm energy. "This is bold," she said, sipping coffee. "You're not just giving them a fun day, you're teaching them they don't need Gina's world to feel valued." "That's the goal," I replied, showing her the itinerary on my phone. I'm posting a photo right at 3. When Gina's party is in full swing, let her see what real happiness looks like. Smart. Marcy nodded. Make it undeniable. I also called Dr. Lee, our family therapist, for advice on preparing the kids emotionally. Focus on their strengths, he suggested. Let them know this day celebrates who they are. So, I spent time with Travis, praising his latest forest sketch, and with Kelsey, cheering her soccer tricks in the backyard despite Seattle's drizzle. Everything was set. The tickets were printed, bags packed with rain jackets and sunscreen for California's sun. At 3 o'clock on party day, I'd post our photo right when Gina's guests were sipping their overpriced cocktails, showing my kids thriving. No invitation required. On the day of Alicia's party, I drove to Gina's house in the Seattle suburbs, the rain tapping my windshield. Their sprawling home was decked out with elegant floral arrangements and string lights, a perfect stage for her high society event. I carried the hand-drawn sketchbook I'd chosen as Alicia's gift, wrapped neatly, hoping to keep things civil for her sake. Inside, the place buzzed with guests, local business owners, event planners, and their polished kids. Gina stood near a catered dessert table, her silk dress catching the light as she chatted with a group of women. I caught her eye, but she turned away, continuing her conversation. Then I overheard her, voice low but clear. My sister's kids are so undisciplined, practically feral. It's better they're not here to embarrass anyone. A few guests nodded, one murmuring agreement. My stomach twisted, but before I could process it, Mom stepped closer to Gina and clapped lightly, her smile approving. You made the right call, she said, loud enough for me to hear. The betrayal landed like a punch, their dismissal of Travis and Kelsey echoing in my head. I found Alicia near a balloon arch, her party dress pristine but her expression downcast. Uncle Travis and Kelsey didn't come? She asked, her voice small. I knelt down, handing her the gift. They really wanted to, sweetheart, but they had to miss this one. They drew this for you. Her face lit up briefly as she hugged the sketchbook, then dimmed again. I saved them seats. My throat tightened. She didn't deserve to be caught in this. I hugged her gently, promising we'd plan a playdate soon. Gina's laughter carried from across the room, her ease with her guests a stark contrast to Alicia's quiet disappointment. I stood, my resolve hardening. I wasn't going to confront her. Not here. Not now. As I walked toward the door, one of Gina's friends, a woman in a sharp blazer, stopped me. Theresa, where are your kids? Alicia's been talking about them all week. I forced a smile. They couldn't make it today. I'm just dropping off her gift. Her brow furrowed, sensing something off, but she nodded politely. I stepped outside into the drizzle, my car keys cold in my hand. No arguments, no scene. I'd made my point by showing up and leaving on my terms. Gina thought she could dictate my family's worth, but I was done letting her words define us. The real plan was waiting Disneyland, where my kids would shine without her shadow. After leaving Gina's party, we flew to Disneyland. The kids had no idea where we were headed until we landed in Los Angeles, and their eyes lit up when I showed them the tickets. Travis clutched his sketchbook, already imagining new drawings, while Kelsey bounced in her seat, guessing which rides we'd hit first. We stepped into the park under a bright California sun, the air buzzing with music and laughter. Our first stop was Space Mountain, Travis's pick. He gripped my hand as we zoomed through the dark, his laughter louder than the ride's whoosh. Kelsey took charge on the teacups, spinning us until we were dizzy, her grin wide enough to light up the park. We grabbed burgers at a themed diner, ketchup smudged on Kelsey's cheek as she rambled about meeting princesses. Then, while waiting for the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, I spotted Gina's friend Claire from her event planning circle. She waved. Surprised. Theresa, I thought you'd be at Alicia's party. I explained we had other plans, keeping it vague. Claire snapped a photo of us with the castle in the background, promising to share it with Gina later. I didn't stop her. At 3 o'clock, right in the middle of Gina's party, I posted our photo on Instagram, Travis and Kelsey beaming, Mickey ears on, with my caption, "Making our own magic. Botcher family first, no regrets." Comments poured in from friends, colleagues, even parents from school. "Best mom ever," one wrote. "Those smiles are everything." Another added. That evening, as we watched the fireworks burst over the castle, my phone rang. Gina's name flashed on the screen. "How dare you?" she hissed. "Alicia saw your post and cried because she wasn't with her cousins. You made me look like a fool in front of everyone." Her voice shook with rage, but I could hear guests murmuring in the background, likely judging her perfect event. "I took my kids somewhere they'd be valued," I said calmly. "If Alicia's upset, maybe you should have thought about that before shutting them out." She sputtered, unable to respond, and hung up. Travis and Kelsey were still gazing at the sky, hands linked, unaware of the call. Their joy was untouched, and that's what mattered. Claire texted me later, saying the photo had spread among Gina's circle. "People are talking," she wrote. "They're not happy with how she handled this." I didn't reply, but I knew the ripple effect had begun. My kids danced back to the hotel, clutching cotton candy and souvenirs, their faces glowing under the park's lights. We'd created something Gina's world could never match. Back in Seattle, the fallout hit fast. I opened my phone and blocked Gina's number, then Mom's, without a second thought. No more calls, no more texts, no more chances for them to belittle my kids. I was done letting their judgment seep into our lives. Gina's perfect world unraveled quicker than I expected. Claire's photo from Disneyland spread through her social circle, and whispers about her snobbery grew loud. Two of her biggest clients' event planners for Seattle's tech crowd dropped her contracts within days. They didn't want their brands tied to someone who'd exclude family so coldly, especially after the post went viral in our suburbs' online groups. Her reputation as the flawless organizer took a hit, and I heard through a mutual friend she was scrambling to save face, but the damage was done. Mom faced her own consequences. She'd always leaned on family gatherings to fill her days, but without us, her house felt empty. A neighbor mentioned she'd stopped hosting her weekly book club, her health slipping as the isolation sank in. She sent one voicemail, her voice shaky. "Theresa, we're family. Can't we talk?" I deleted it, my fingers steady. Her clapping at Gina's insult had shown where her loyalty lay. Travis and Kelsey didn't ask about their aunt or grandma, too busy with school and new memories from our trip. Travis's sketches turned brighter, full of castles and stars, while Kelsey's soccer games became our weekend highlight. We'd built a life that didn't need their approval. Marcy stopped by one evening, handing me a coffee. "You did more than survive," she said. "You showed them your kids are worth more than their shallow standards." I nodded, sipping slowly, feeling lighter than I had in years. What I learned was simple but hard-won. Family isn't a free pass to hurt you. It's okay to cut ties when respect is missing, to choose joy over obligation. My kids deserved a mom who'd fight for their worth, not beg for a seat at a table that didn't want us. If you've ever had to draw a line with toxic relatives, you know it's not easy, but it's freeing. Your peace, your family's happiness, comes first, no exceptions.